Munson Music. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you could play Stormy Monday, kind of working off the Allman Brothers a little bit here. And it's really kind of a 12-bar blues, but very slow blues, and a very, I love this song. But the main feel actually kind of works around, starts on a G7 chord. I'm going to be working a lot of bars for this. Actually, there are lots of other ways you can kind of adjust this. So I'm starting on a G major, actually kind of working off the 3rd fret, or a G7 to make it sound a little bit more bluesy. Kind of working the pinky into that can be very cool. There are definitely some spots where you may want to kind of play around with it with almost like a G6 kind of sound, or even a G7 with a flat 6 to help lead into a C chord. And I'm kind of digging on a C9 voice here. And then we kind of got some more C. And then we'll be going back to our G. But then there's this cool move to an A flat 7. So you kind of take that G7 shape, slide it over for an A flat 7, back to the G7. Might even kind of dig on that move to the 6, using the flat 6 to point back to the C. And randomly, this song, you may want to play around with a lot of chromatic leading, almost like you can take your chord shapes and just kind of slide by a half step. So instead of setting up a C9, you may want to experiment with setting up a B9 to lead into the C9, or a D flat 9 to lead to the C9. The same idea for the G can be very cool too. Kind of using an F sharp 7 to point to the G7. And then we end up on the coolest walk ever, where we got a G7 to an A minor, or an A minor 7. And then we go to a B minor 7. And then we backtrack to a B flat 7. So I love that walk up. And then we go to a D9. And at the very end, you may want to take that D9 and kind of slide it over 1 fret to the E flat 9. And I think the Allman Brothers stay there. I know for myself, actually, and this just comes from years of jamming with other people, you start picking up their licks too. I almost feel like a return to the D gives some resolution to that before we go into our turnaround. Kind of G7 to the C, back to the G7, and then going to the D9. Going through that. So through the whole form, and I know there's a lot of chords really quick here too. This isn't necessarily an easy lesson, but that's cool. So you got your G. So you may want to try and take that to kind of feel that groove, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, kind of a 12/8 groove, or you can feel it in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're kind of feeling the triplets on each of those 4, which is kind of cool. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just kind of doing downs just to kind of get used to that feel. If you want to add in some ups too, that's cool. I know I just turned this lesson into a Marty lesson. It's like, well, I do downs, but then I add some ups to them too. But and then for this tune, that might kind of help. You know, you just want to kind of keep that 3 pulse in the background. So you got kind of that G, call it Stormy Monday, C, but Tuesdays just as G bad, A flat, G. kind of work that form, just kind of feeling each of those chords now. It's really all about negative space too, actually. You know, we're kind of feeling that big heavy beat, but as long as you're still internalizing that beat, you could work around it. And actually, this is where some of the cool little chromatic leading ideas could kind of pay off. Actually, kind of working F#7 to lead to the G, or A flat to lead to G, leading the B to the C. Shapes from a half step below or a half step below or above could be cool. Some slide G, C, so cool, actually, especially with the Allman Brothers, actually, depending on which version. Down, down, up. You know, there's all these really cool rhythm variations that you can play around with. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, or kind of playing around with those little variations or swiping back and forth. This is kind of an open-ended kind of an idea, but that can be very cool to work chromatic leading with the chords. And randomly, I just finished shooting a video actually on how you solo over pentatonic scales. You want to check that out. And if you're more interested in doing lead stuff over the top of this, it's going to be very cool to work G minor pentatonic stuff, or even take the ideas actually for pentatonic scale and move them around by key. And actually, in the video, randomly, I ended up on that tangent kind of G7 working minor pentatonic scale, C working C minor pentatonic, and then G7 right kind of working the A flat. You can even move that pattern over to for a moment before you get back to the G. And then the C minor pentatonic. So we're talking about some options there. For the most part, you can kind of keep it in that G minor pentatonic scale. Now, when that move happens, though, this can be very, very cool too. Is to take that idea actually and kind of move it with the pentatonic scale. So you may have some pentatonic licks that you're already working around G minor, or in pattern 1 of pentatonic and G minor. So when you go to the A minor change, you may want to move that pattern up 2 frets, make an A minor pentatonic scale. On the B minor, you may want to move it up to a B minor pentatonic scale. And on the B flat 7, you may want to go back to the G minor. And then when you get to the D, you can even use a D minor pentatonic scale. Sometimes, and then on the E flat, going over to E flat, but then back to D maybe, and then back to G, and then the C, and G, D, and E flat. Oh, sounds great for that turnaround too. Build up a lot of tension to kind of start it over again. So there's lots of ways to work it, or you can even almost take a chord scale approach to this, kind of the G7 lick, chord, lick, chord, it's like, if I stay in G minor, it just doesn't sound right anymore. And this is just one of those tunes where, especially on the A minor change, B minor, B flat, or even B flat minor pentatonic can be kind of cool there. There's lots of possibilities actually to kind of move around and use some other scales other than just staying in the G7 or the G minor pentatonic scale around the G7. So you want to kind of experiment with it as kind of a jam idea too. So I hope that helps kind of looking at the chord flow and some of the scales that you could use over Stormy Monday. So best of luck.